Hello and welcome to the Street Aesthete channel. Today we're going to be playing Geoguessr Battle Royale. We continue a series of videos in which I try to win a Battle Royale without moving, while my opponents have the benefit of being able to move around in the coverage. We start off here in a very wintry scene, and one that at first glance I would have to say is North America. Canada or the US, I'm yet to completely verify. But it looks like we've got a speed limit sign there rather than a maximum sign, so that would point us towards the US. And we've got a very flat landscape as well. I don't know where there's winter coverage in the US, but if we go by the trees, they look rather northern. And I did actually think this looked more like Canada, so I'm thinking about Alaska, but I'm just going to stick one in up here. Even though it's very mountainous, I think it's kind of a good hedge for the whole of the continental US and Alaska, and wouldn't be surprised if we're up here somewhere, but I think it'll keep us in the game. And in fact, we were in Minnesota. So there you go. I'm not too displeased with that guess, kind of got roughly the right latitude. We will be making better guesses as the game progresses, I hope. Okay, we are in Europe. Let's see if we can fathom the language here. Looks to be a Slavic language, and I think it could be Croatian. Not totally sure about that, but I think the pine trees fit for Croatia. But we could equally be in Slovakia, perhaps. I'm not sure about Czechia. So I suppose I'm going to go for Zagreb. Not sure about it. If we're not there, I think we're probably in Slovakia. Shall we put another guess in Bratislava? We might as well. Okay, a little bit better off, but still not quite the right town, it seems. The other possibility, I suppose, is Czechia. We could be somewhere in the outskirts of Prague. And yes, it was, in fact, Czechia. We were in the small town Kutná Hora. Not one I've come across before, but more or less in the middle. So, yeah, relatively speaking, a good thing that we switched up to Slovakia there. Although I don't think we would have been knocked out. Okay, we've got, it looks like some trekker coverage here, or is this a car? No, a red car. And not too much to go off of here, other than the landscape. Can we see the sun? I think this is the sun, and it looks as though it's in the north, which would put us in the southern hemisphere. We've got wooden fencing. This is a tricky one. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going to put it in South America. I'm going for Argentina. Not at all sure about this. And it's not a terrible guess, but it doesn't put us at the top of the pack, which is where I generally prefer to be. But I think for now, it's probably good enough. What else does this look like to me? Wow, okay. completely wrong. Right hemisphere at least, but yeah, this was New Zealand, which was not one that anyone thought of. So, yeah, we've got a real spread here, but quite a few others were also thinking of Argentina, so at least I'm in good company. And now, sun right in the middle, really, so we can't go off of that, but this is, looking like Asia, I would say, with this a kind of stone guttering here, but I'm not totally convinced of that. I could also see this being South America. It's a tricky one. But yeah, this roof, there's something very Asian about it. I don't know where we are. I truly don't know. Having a hard time with some of these rounds today. I've kind of got this weird idea that it might be Bhutan. I'm not really sure about that, but I'm just going to stick it in the middle of the country. It looks like we might be right. The Bhutanese coverage is usually very distinctive, and I seem to remember it not being quite such high quality. But no, okay, yeah, we were in Bhutan. Most of the coverage I've seen is over in the west, around the capital. I've not seen so much in the east, so that's perhaps why it was unfamiliar, but pleased to have picked that one up, because it is a relatively obscure country. And now we look to be in Europe, perhaps, but I don't want to speak too soon, because I'm also very much thinking, now I see this landscape, of South America. And if I'm thinking of anywhere, I was actually thinking of Brazil, but I'm still not totally convinced of that. Where would we be in northern Brazil that would be this mountainous? I suppose I can't think of anywhere, which is why I think we're actually probably, especially when we see the clouds over the mountains here, we're more likely to be somewhere in Colombia, but I'm not totally convinced of that. Let's put it in and see how we do. Okay, we're pretty much right next to the first place player. We've got yellow number plates, which I should have noted earlier. That does actually confirm Colombia. I think Colombia is the only South American country that has yellow number plates. And we had a rather nice church there with some great stonework, and not too bad a guess. Not too bad a guess at all, to be honest. Pretty pleased with that. We've whittled our opponents down now to the top 3, and we are in another Spanish-speaking country. Looking rather lush. Can we find the sun? Sun here, and it's right in the middle, which doesn't help us. Selección Nacional de Mexico. Well, that certainly does help us. Okay, so we know the country. What can we tell about the landscape? Looking relatively flat, I would say. So we don't want to go too much around here where it's very mountainous. I don't think we're too far south. I wouldn't put us kind of around here, so I'm going to put one around here. If not, I mean, this could be kind of a rogue round in the Yucatan. But no, we're in first place for now. Could we be any further north? It's not impossible. I think staying where we are in the middle is probably the safe bet. And now we come to the final round. If you're enjoying the music that you hear in this video, then do take a look at my first channel, which is linked in the description, and that's where I upload all of my original music. Now let's see if, after a rough start to this game, we can take the win without moving. Spanische Lebensmittel. Okay, the language is German. Let's see if we can find the copyright. 2022 or 23 is that? I think it's 23, which means Germany is certainly possible. And indeed, looking around, that is where I would guess we are. Now, my opponent is going to be able to move around, so I need to start getting some guesses in because I don't have a clear idea of where we are. I'm going to put us in the Ruhr, kind of in this very densely populated area to the west, and then probably not too bad an idea to put us on the outskirts of Berlin, and then let's put a third guess somewhere to the south. Okay, not looking great. We are way out at the moment. Well, not way out, but we are losing. And let's put something in Hanover and hope for the best. You know, I almost went for Hamburg. I almost did. We'll give this guy a GG. So, you can't win them all. Stay tuned for more Geoguessr videos. I'm going to be uploading some duels in future on this channel, and take a look at some of my other channel content in which I explore street view coverage of noteworthy locations, looking out for beautiful architecture. And if you enjoy the music in any of my videos, then take a look at my first channel, which, as I say, is where I upload all of my original music.